Good, well, good day. Good morning where you are. Good afternoon where you are. It's good early evening where I am. I'll show you a little bit of where I am. It looks like this. How awesome is that? So glad to be here with you for another Hump Day Happy Chat. I am Dr. Valerie Renee Shepard. I'm coming to you live from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery on the road. You can see by my background, it is not my typical situation. And it's a really cool situation. I'm in the south of France in a medieval village called Antagnac, and I am having a fantastic time doing the things of the Hartley Center. We had a beautiful 7-day spiritual transformational immersion retreat from May 29th to June 5th. And I'm calling it a fantastic success. And I think everyone who participated got a lot out of it. We're already preparing for next year's version, the 2024 version of the Glow Up experience. So that's coming. We're very excited about that. And today is a regular Wednesday Hump Day Happy Chat. And I'm excited to be here. And I'm hoping that you're doing well. And remember that the Hump Day Happy Chat is just about giving you some tips and tricks and tools to help you live a high vibe life. High vibe being emphasis on peace, love, joy, emotional freedom, and living large. We created a new mantra. This one is, I'm on my path of least resistance, experiencing my greatest joys. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's cultivating in me the alignment with my path of least resistance. Boy, that's easy for me to say. Path of least resistance, experiencing my greatest joys. I wish that for you as well. And thank you for joining me. I love to know who's out there. So if you could please type in the chat, hello, Dr. Valerie. I'd love to know you're there. And if you have questions, I like to answer those too. So, I'm in a foreign land to my homeland and speaking a foreign language. And it occurred to me that one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is learning a new language. And it also occurred to me that learning a new language is not just the blah, blah, blah linguistically, that there are times in my life, and I'm doing it right now, when learning a new language goes far broader and far deeper than just being able to hold a conversation. And so that's what today's Hump Day Happy Chat is all about. It's like, what language are you speaking? What languages? Do you have multiple ones? And how are you using them for your highest good? So according to Ethnologue, over 7,000 languages are spoken in the world today. 7,000. English is the number one, I think, at 1.5 billion people speaking English. 90% of that 7,000 are spoken by fewer than 100,000 people. Like, that's amazing. There are old languages that are being lost, and there are languages that are being expanded. And so this question of, like, what language are you speaking? And how's that working for you? So for me, my French is coming along. It's getting better. And I got a shout out to Duolingo and my friends on Duolingo. I'm having a good time getting more fluent and conversational in French. I'm actually told that it's pretty good. My pronunciation is good, and I'm making sentences. I'm light years away from fluency, but I can order in a restaurant and I can find a toilette. Remember those things? Où est le toilette? Yes. And I'm holding this with my hand, so I hope I'm not making you seasick. Okay. So this whole idea of languages is kind of important. I mean, many of you may have read Gary Chapman's work on the 5 love languages. Do you know what they are? I've got them written down here. Words of affirmation. Quality time is one of my favorites, like be with me. Quality time, I want to be with you. Physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. 5 love languages. But there are other languages that we speak. Like to the people in your life, like what languages are you speaking? And this has been coming up a lot because there's so much division. When we really want to be together, we seem to somehow create division. And I was thinking, what languages? So sometimes in the past, I've spoken languages of isolation, fear, indifference, sadness, fear, indifference, sadness. Those were languages that sort of kept me in my space and didn't really invite other people in. Sometimes I was afraid of being with other people. Fear of intimacy kept me in the language of isolation. What about the language of separation? Languages of separation. Fear, another one comes up again. Anger, distrust, disdain, judgment, hate. Are you speaking the languages of separation? What about languages of dominance? The command and control energy underneath what you're saying, the way you hold your countenance, command and control. What about languages of submission? If you're a people pleaser, you're speaking the language of submission. You're submitting yourself to other people's whims and fancies. Sometimes we have no choice. If we're in an organization and the organization has expectations and rules, well, we better be speaking that language. But sometimes something else is going on. So that's sort of, a little bit of the lay of the land. I'd love for you to think about, what is it for you? How are you speaking languages to others that aren't really serving you? But then there's this other bigger bucket, which is, what are you speaking to yourself? What language are you speaking to you? Are you loving and kind, generous? Are you the words of affirmation to yourself? Or are you something else entirely? To yourself and others, are you keeping quiet so as not to disrupt the peace? So you don't even let yourself hear you? Don't even give yourself love and guidance? Or are you screaming and shouting, demanding that you be seen and heard? You're the only one who knows about the languages you speak to yourself. You have to give yourself an honest evaluation. What is really true? What is really real? And what is really true? I know that for the longest time, I didn't realize it, but the languages that I was speaking to myself were not so positive, were not very enriching. And part of the reason I didn't know about it was because it was a very subtle voice. I actually, when I started going on the hunt for, where's that inner voice coming from? Where are the ideas that I have coming from? I actually went on that journey, this journey towards self-mastery using curiosity. When I went on that journey, I kind of heard very subtle things, and I learned more by looking at my actions than I did listening for a specific voice. You can look at your actions when you're ready to see the truth about who you are being to you. Most really important relationship you'll ever have is the one that you keep with yourself. Why is that? You cannot put out in the world what you're unwilling to give from you to you. And so when I looked at my results and my actions, I got clear on what some of the messages were. Some of the messages were, they were rough and tumble. They were sometimes mean. They were definitely built in separation. Not the most fulfilling things to be doing to oneself. So when you think about this, is it time for you to learn a new language? I'm not talking about French or Spanish or Greek or Russian or Mandarin, which I'm told in the research that I did, several sources say that Mandarin Chinese is the most difficult language on the planet to learn. I'm grateful that it's not French because that's what I'm studying right now. So some signs that you need to learn a new language, like what might those be? Maybe you're not being heard the same way you used to. Like people outside you aren't engaging with you. Maybe you're not either. Maybe you come from a history of kicking yourself in the tuchus, and now you're not so wanting to respond to that. You're not so engaged with that. You're not so scared by that. Maybe you need a new language. Maybe you can't even understand yourself. Like, have you ever gotten to places where you go, wait, what? Wait, what did I just say? I have. And it's an important moment to like notice, wow, what on earth is going on? What is going on? I don't even understand what I'm saying. What if you notice that you're not moving forward? There's no progress being made. You say it, but you don't really do it. You have really great ideas for what you'd like to see happen in your life, with the kind of results you'd like to be living, but you're not actually living them. And when you look at your goals year in and year out, you actually find the same things are on the list. How does that happen? You might need a new language. Learn a new language to motivate and inspire yourself. What about you're not really believed? The people to whom you're speaking, including yourself, just aren't buying it anymore. They've heard it before. Nothing really happened when you said it. And so they're not really buying in anymore. Those are just a few signs. You have to look at your own, what in your life is telling you you might need to learn a new language. You might need to practice. You might need to be coming from a different place in your life. So right now I'm learning French. But over the last 2 decades of my journey, writing the Living Happy to Be Me book, creating the Living 101 Being Happy and Whole curriculum, doing my speaking engagements and retreats, over the last 2 decades of dancing in that energy, those energies, I've learned that I have a negative conjurer voice. So that's something inside me that always wants to print the doom and gloom headline and looks for it. Like, where's the doom and gloom coming? I had to learn a new language that was more about faith and trust, more about seeing the bright, shiny things inside the sort of gray stuff, and maybe even the really dark black stuff, the tar stuff. I had to learn a language of patience in the midst of my former language of Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Hair is on fire. Gotta get it done. Gotta move, gotta move, gotta move, gotta move. Like, yeah, I'm still learning that new language, by the way. But yes, I had to choose a new language. And what about the languages of intimacy? Into me, see. I had to take on the language of into me, see. In the midst of really not wanting people to know too much about Valerie. Really being worried about, well, maybe they won't like me. Maybe they won't stick around. What kind of mask do I have to put on in order to have what I want, which is the belonging and the connection? And the new language of intimacy was to be real and to be true and to say what felt appropriate in the moment, kind and generous, not just whatever I think, and learn how to allow that maybe that doesn't work for everybody. And that doesn't mean I'm bad or wrong. But I had to learn that new language and learn the new behaviors that came along with it. And I think I had to learn a new language of self-love instead of self-beating up, whatever that is. Where I'm always taking myself to task. I was never satisfied with anything I said or did. And I used to play the tapes back. And I used to try and, oh dear, I would second guess myself. I don't think I did that right. Oh God, I wish I hadn't done that. Oh no, maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. And back and forth and back and forth. I had to learn a new language. All those things, those languages I was speaking were running me ragged. Have you ever sat down, exhausted, and realized the only reason you're exhausted is because you've run yourself ragged? Yeah, I know exactly what that is. Been doing it. Not so much in the last few years, but there was a time when that was the language of me. Trying to be what I thought I needed to be to have the love and the inspiration and the belonging and the connection that I wanted and that I think we all want in our own different ways. So, is it time for you to learn a new language? Is a questioning about, number one, are you clear on what languages you're speaking? Mostly to yourself. Are you clear about what languages you're speaking? Mostly to yourself. And then, is it serving you? Are those languages filling you up with joy, filling you up with excitement, filling you up with inspiration, filling you up with legs, the legs that could walk 10 miles and then take a 2-second break and get up and walk 10 more? Is that what your language, your self-talk language, is giving you? So you've got to first go on the treasure hunt. You've got to, put together self-mastery plus curiosity. And in self-mastery, self-awareness is number 1 pillar. Number 2 pillar is self-acceptance. Number 3 pillar is self-love. So you put those 3 pillars together, and one of the most important character traits of a person who is in it to win it for self-mastery is curiosity. Curiosity. Are you curious about why you do what you do, think what you think, see the world through the lenses that you see the world, reject the things that you reject, say yes, no, maybe? Are you really, really clear on what makes you tick? Without self-awareness, in the long run, and a lot of times in the short run, the things that you're trying to create in your life can't be created the way you want them to be, because you're unaware of what inside you is actually rejecting the very thing that you want. What inside you is calling in difficulty, is calling in naysayers, is calling in lack and limitation when you're looking for abundance. Believe it or not, make no mistake about it, those things are coming from inside inside you. The world would like you to believe there's someone out there to blame, but truth be told, there really isn't. And it's not about blaming you either. Who has time for that? Nothing changes from that. And I'm all about transformation. So it's about asking yourself, is my ability to be the happiest? What's my new affirmation? I'm on the path of least resistance, experiencing my greatest joys. I'm on the path of least resistance, experiencing my greatest joys. Oh, and by the way, sidebar conversation, that's what you're here for. Easy, breezy, beautiful, joyful, fun-filled life. So if you're working and striving and struggling and proving, you're not really on the right track. So what do? Okay, always, 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 my number one step is breathe. Breathe. Give yourself a moment to get back online. Get some energy going between your head and your heart. Open up. Oxygenate your entire system. Doesn't even take that long. You can do a couple breathing exercises in a couple of minutes. And then next is use that curiosity to understand you better. Why did I say that? Why do I disagree with that and agree with that? Why am I seeing things this way? Catalog what's happening. So for me, one of the things that I've cataloged over the last couple of years has been, I think I have a body of unfinished business. Things that I start and I get really excited about and I map them out and I have the idea, and then something stops me. Something inside me calls me into hold the bus, and I stop. And I've got a couple projects that are really important and really meaningful to me, and I want to see them through. And somehow I am not inspired to work on them. So that is one of my questions. What's the language of finishing my business? What is the language of getting the things that I want to have completed? Not just to check the box, but for my own self-love, for my own yabba dabba do for me. So that's one of the things I'm noticing. So it's a matter of cataloging what's happening in your life. If you've got things that are sitting around and you haven't gotten to them, maybe that's something for you to look at as well. If you notice that friends come in and they disappear, maybe that's something to look at in the languages that you speak in friendship. Maybe there's something going on physiologically. I have this pain and that hurt and I'm always sick. Maybe there's something going on in the language that you speak with yourself around health and healing. I can't tell you what the situational dynamics are. That's for you to explore, for you to go find out. So then you catalog your results, and then you spend some time discerning what about the way you've been doing that is not serving you. I'm sorry if you were looking for a silver bullet answer. I don't have a video that you could just watch and have it all done. This is a lifelong journey into your highest and best you. That takes an investment from you, to you, for you, by you, and all about you. So you discern how the old language you've been speaking isn't serving you. So I think my old language has been, I got to do more, be more, say more, go more. And so what happens is when I have too many plates spinning, then I tend to put some down. And I also like the newness of things. So I've been learning the language. Like, what is the language I need to speak with myself that helps me handle things until they're finished? And I've noticed myself getting distracted. And then I remind myself lovingly, wait, what was that thing I was supposed to do? Wait, I picked something else up in the midst of doing something else. How do I do that better? How do I do that differently? How do I serve myself what I want and not what I don't? And then you make a choice. And you choose over and over and over again. You make little corrections as you see how well you do or how poorly you do in some cases. That's been my experience. And you keep going. And you keep going. And you keep going some more. You set your goals, look at your markers of success or failure or mediocre, and you recalibrate and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. Yes, just like learning French or Russian or Mandarin Chinese, it can require a lot of effort to create proficiency in any new language. It can take a lot of effort. I'm on day number 400 and something with my Duolingo practice, and I am nowhere near fluent. But I am enriching my life, and I am making progress toward being the version of me that I'm really excited to live. And I keep going. Throughout the fatigue, throughout the mistakes, and there are plenty, I keep going. When you feel like giving up, check in on your worthiness and your deservingness. Are you feeling worthy and deserving of all the magnificence that's coming your way? Well, it's coming your way because something in you is attracting it. You can't attract beautiful things without being that first. So fortify your worthiness and deservingness. Oh boy, now you get to hear the chimes. You can't see, so I'll show you my environment once again. And you just heard the bells in the church. Just a little to my left. And this is where I am right now. And I'll be here for a little while. Yay! So once again, thank you so much for watching the replay, #replay. Thank you so much for sharing. Remember, there's potentially at least one person in your sphere of influence who could use a little help and guidance. And you don't have to blah, blah, blah. You could just share the video. I always close the Hump Day Happy Chat with the Karanaya Metta Sutra, the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha, until I find something I like better. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. And may all beings be free. And that's emotional freedom, not geopolitical freedom. It's about freeing your heart from old belief systems, old sacred cow ways of being that are holding you back. Thank you for being here with me. I'm Dr. Valerie Renee Shepard, founder and CEO of the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery, coming to you live from Antognac, France. Many blessings. See you next time. Oops, let's listen to the chimes one more time. Beautiful. Many blessings. Bye now.